Hello, MJ traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community. It's Thursday, January 4th. Hope you're doing awesome. And in this video, we're going to be going over some news out of Florida, an update with regards to recreational MJ. They are inching closer to making the 2024 ballot. We're going to discuss all of that and more. We'll take a look at the chart as well for a couple MJ names. We're seeing double-digit gains on the day today, so that's great to see. Before we get to it, though, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. Also, subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff, and you'll be notified on any future videos or whenever I go live. As always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment and informational purposes only. You should never, ever buy anything based on anything that I write or based on anything that I've said or will say. Also, make sure to give us a follow over on X, which is formerly Twitter. I post a lot of the real-time updates on here as well, and it's a great way to interact with me, and I'll be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So again, the handle for that is @GroupPal on X. So here was the article from Business Observer. Florida inches closer to recreational MJ with 2024 ballot initiative, a proposal that would legalize adult recreational MJ use and bring a massive influx of tax revenues in Florida appears headed to the general election ballot in November. And this is dated 5 a.m. January 4th, 2024. This is something I've been saying for many, many months now, that we're more than likely going to see this on the ballot for 2024. We have so many catalysts on the horizon, right? We had Ohio, Pennsylvania, we have, other states, we have other countries, Germany, potentially a vote there, and some updates with regards to go live at some point in the next 1 to 2 quarters, could even be in the next couple of months. So we'll keep a close eye on that as well, and we could have safer banking uplisting in the NYSE and the NASDAQ. We know TerraSend and Curaleaf recently uplisted to the Toronto Stock Exchange, so that's a nice precursor, and that foreshadowing event that we're probably going to see uplisting continue, and eventually the next step is going to be that U.S. major exchange uplisting, right? So that's going to be huge, and then rescheduling could happen by, in my opinion, by 420. So it's 2024, so sort of a backward 420. So is this the year where we're going to see multiple reform events and catalysts happen in the U.S.? I think so, and I think this is a great turnaround year and potential bull market beginning for MJ. And like I said, Florida potentially on the ballot with a go live potentially in 2025. I think the likelihood of that happening is very, very high at this point. And like I said, very, very bullish. We could see rescheduling, safer banking, uplisting to the NYSE and the NASDAQ, Germany. There's so many things to be bullish on at the moment. And I think that Florida and New York are going to be the most important states and the biggest states in the U.S. And I think Florida has the potential to be the biggest in terms of market share. In less than a decade, nearly half of the United States, 24 states plus Washington, D.C. and Guam, have opted to approve adult recreational use of MJ. More than a dozen other states, including Florida, have medical MJ programs or have decriminalized MJ, while only 4 states, South Carolina, Kansas, Wyoming, and Idaho, maintain a fully illegal stance toward MJ, which I think will become a thing of the past very soon. In the November 2023 elections, Ohio, which like Florida, is a former swing state, turned red. So if they can do it, basically anybody can do it. And they became the latest state to approve recreational MJ use and thus welcome a new multi-billion-dollar industry. And we know that Pennsylvania is another important market as well on the cusp. And then not to mention the amount of tax revenue that it brings. Is this a sign of things to come in the Sunshine State? I think so. Let me know in the comments what you think of this, if you agree with that. A measure that would put a proposed recreational MJ amendment on the 2024 general election ballot has garnered enough signatures to move forward and is currently being reviewed by the Florida Supreme Court, which is expected to rule on it by April 1st. And Boris Jordan, the executive chairman and co-founder of Curaleaf, said that he expected that we could get an update with regards to rescheduling, and he expects it to get approved by April and 420, right? So if we get enough catalysts strung together here, this could really ignite the sector, and we could see massive, massive upside this year and a potential for, potential catalyst for a new multi-year bull market, which would be great to see. And we could definitely use it after the brutal multi-year bear market that we've had. So some names down over 80-90% plus from their February 2021 highs and all-time highs. An organization called Smart and Safe Florida, backed by nearly $40 million in contributions from Trulieve, one of the largest providers of medical MJ in Florida, sponsored the ballot initiative, and there's been some, controversy around their monopoly with regards to the Florida market. But I mean, that's where most of their operations are, so of course they want it to be legalized, right? The Drug Free America Foundation and Florida Chamber of Commerce opposed the amendment, and in November, Jeffrey DeZosa of Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody's office argued that before the Florida Supreme Court that the wording of the proposed amendment is confusing and would mislead voters. He also says the amendment would lead to less competition in the MJ marketplace, raising the specter of large companies such as Trulieve using the measure as a springboard toward a monopolized industry. So again, he kind of touched on what I just mentioned. The Attorney General office's position didn't seem to resonate with the court, with Justice Charles Sanati saying that he was baffled by the state's arguments against the amendment. I agree. I was baffled as well. I think they're reaching, says Charles Gallagher, a St. Petersburg attorney who's been following the proposed amendment and believes it will not only appear on the ballot in November 2024, but also clear the 60% voter approval threshold that it needs to be put into Florida law, right? So this is what I've been saying for many, many months, and I think so as well. I think it will not only appear on the ballot, but it will clear that 60% voter approval threshold. The argument that it's not stating explicitly that, yes, this is going to be lawful under Florida law, but unlawful under federal law, I think the justices didn't buy that rationale. And then 71% of the vote in 2016, Floridians overwhelmingly voted in favor of the amendment authorizing adult use of medical MJ. So 71% in terms of medical, and that was in 2016. So just imagine what has changed since then, right? That's a long time. We're talking, 7 years where, 8 years where, the stigma has been pretty much completely eliminated. From what I've seen, and here in Canada, we've been legal for over 5 years now at the federal level. So recreational use and stigma has basically been, non-existent. And then they also mentioned they expect to see significant campaigning and lobbying the public after it's officially on the ballot. So I agree. It's an election year. We're going to see that in presidential political campaigns as well. And then it's going to be a big thing with regards to, states and other, individual states and state level elections. And then campaigns with regards to the ballot, most definitely going to be pumped like you wouldn't believe. And then also, according to a study by the Florida Financial Impact Estimating Conference, based on other states' experiences, expected retail sales of non-medical MJ would generate at least $195.6 million annually in state and local sales tax revenues once the retail market is fully operational, although the timing of this occurring is unclear. And let me bring this home for you with some very enlightening comments. In Florida, sales of medical MJ are tax exempt, so the Florida legislature would likely have to create a new regulatory framework that would delineate medical and non-medical MJ commerce. Lawmakers could also authorize more MJ licenses, easing fears of monopolized marketplace. That's a great point as well. The numbers we're talking about are in billion-dollar numbers. As far as economic impact is concerned, Gallagher said, that is significant, obviously, for our state. I think the states that have approved adult recreational MJ use and experienced it are happy about it. It's a phenomenal economic boost. Absolutely it is. Medicine of the future. Even if the amendment doesn't pass in 2024, Gallagher expects proponents to keep trying and eventually triumph. Florida's foray into medical MJ has been a success, and MJ in general doesn't inflame the fires of the culture wars the way it did decades ago, when it was stigmatized as a gateway drugs for young people. And like I said, if 71% of people voted for medical MJ in 2016, just imagine the staggering numbers. I think we should easily see between 70 and 80% in favor of recreational MJ. We're fighting about books in schools, but we're okay with MJ, Gallagher says. Nobody saw that coming. You don't see the ideological pushback. So again, times are changing. And if we take a look at some of our MJ names here as well, we were popping here on Cresco. So Cresco, I actually added this today to my long-term no-touch TFSA tax-free savings account. For those of you not in Canada, I added that to my tax-free account today. So in Canada, we got $7,000 worth of extra contribution room to that TFSA account, which means you can contribute $7,000 and it grows tax-free, right? So if that $7,000 grows to $100,000 over the next few years, you get to keep all of it, right? So I added Cresco to my TFSA today. I am now 35% of that contribution room contributed for 2024. Since I maxed it out in prior years, I was waiting for that $7,000 and I've been holding off on MSOs. And I actually added, like I said, Cresco today. 35% of that TFSA contribution room is used up. The rest of that contribution room that I've used so far, yesterday I added High Tide. And the day before that, I added SNDL. So I'm going to be looking at some other names in the US as well. I'm going to be looking at Green Thumb. I'm just waiting for a little bit of a pullback. I would like to get it somewhere closer to that $10 area. But we'll continue to monitor that. I may add a little bit more Cureleaf. I'm looking at AYR as well, and a few other names, but I'll keep everybody posted when I do add. But like I said, we're seeing some nice green here in the market, and Cresco definitely leading the way out of the major names. So like I said, I think over the next few months, we're really going to see what this industry can do. And like I said, we're really going to see MJ take the spotlight over the next few months. And like I said, we've had there's never been a better time. There's never been a better time to be an MJ investor, even though the prices are finally, just starting to move and sort of get caught back up with reality. We know that there's still a long way to go in terms of, price action and price appreciation to get back to normal levels of valuations, and to more realistic valuations. But at the moment, all I smell is opportunity, and I see tons of opportunity out there. And like I said, we have all the catalysts that we could ever want, and depending on how many catalysts we get and how closely they get stringed together, this industry could make generational wealth over the next few years for a lot of people and your families. And I wish nothing but that for you and everybody listening. All right, going to end it there. It's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. Let me know what you think of this news. Do you think we're going to see it on the 2024 ballot? Always love hearing from you. Have a great day. We'll see you again on the next video.